In a bustling village at the edge of a deep forest, lived two very different men. One was a wealthy merchant named Silas, whose warehouses were filled with the finest silks and spices from far-off lands. He measured his worth by the weight of his gold coins and believed that the only thing that mattered in the world was profit. His heart was as cold as the coins he counted, and he never gave anything away unless he saw a clear benefit in return. Kindness is a fool's game, he would say with a sneer. It fills no purse and pays no debts. The other man was a humble woodcutter named Elias, who lived in a small cottage on the outskirts of the forest. He had little to his name but a sturdy axe and a strong back. Despite his poverty, Elias was known throughout the village for his generous spirit. He would often leave bundles of firewood on the doorsteps of the elderly and share his last loaf of bread with a hungry traveler. He believed that a shared meal always tasted better and that a good deed was a reward in itself. One sweltering afternoon, a frail old woman with a face etched with countless wrinkles appeared in the village square. She was dressed in worn-out rags and leaned heavily on a twisted wooden staff. She approached Silas the merchant, who was inspecting a new shipment of goods. "Please, sir," she said in a weak voice, "I am an old traveler, and I have not had a drop of water all day. Could you spare me a drink?" Silas looked her up and down, his eyes scanning for anything of value she might possess. Seeing none, he scoffed. "Water is a commodity, old woman, not a gift. Go find your own well. I have no time for beggars." He turned his back on her, his face a mask of indifference. The old woman, with a sigh, slowly made her way down the dusty road and into the forest, where Elias was resting after a morning of hard work. She saw him sitting under the shade of an old oak tree, enjoying a simple lunch of bread and cheese. "Young man," she called out, her voice still weak, "I have been traveling for days and my throat is parched. Do you have any water to spare?" Elias looked at her with kindness in his eyes. He saw not a beggar, but a human in need. He immediately stood up, took the simple wooden bowl he used for his own drink, and filled it from his clay pot. "Please, grandmother," he said, offering it to her. "Drink your fill. It is a long way back to the village." The old woman drank greedily, the water seeming to revitalize her with every sip. When she was done, she smiled warmly at Elias. "You have a good heart, my son," she said. "You have given me the gift of life with your simple kindness." Just as Elias was about to respond, the old woman's form began to change. Her rags shimmered and transformed into robes of moonlight, and her bent back straightened. She stood tall, a benevolent forest spirit with a gentle glow surrounding her. Elias gasped, falling to one knee in awe. "You gave without expectation, and for that you shall be rewarded," she announced. She reached out and touched the wooden ball Elias was holding. "This ball shall never be empty of water, so long as you continue to share it with a generous heart. Let it be a symbol of your unending kindness." And with that, she vanished into the air like a wisp of smoke. Elias returned to the village, his heart full of wonder. The news of the enchanted ball spread like wildfire. He used the endless supply of water to quench the thirst of the thirsty, to help the farmers irrigate their crops during a drought, and to give every traveler who passed his way a refreshing drink. The village flourished under his generosity. When Silas the merchant heard the tale, a fire of envy and greed was ignited within him. an endless ball of water. If he, a foolish woodcutter, received such a reward for a single cup of water, what will I receive for a chest of gold? He fumed. He immediately loaded a cart with the most expensive gifts he had, jewels, silken fabrics, and fine perfumes, and rushed into the forest to find the spirit. He found the old woman sitting by a stream, looking as she did before her transformation. Silas, with a face full of false kindness, bowed low. "Great Spirit," he began, "I have brought you gifts worthy of your power. I have heard of your great generosity and wish to offer you this tribute." He gestured grandly at the cart. The old woman looked at him with a knowing smile. "What you offer is not a gift but an exchange," she said calmly. "You do not give from your heart, but from a desire for profit." Silas was impatient. "Please, just take my gifts and give me a magical ball like the woodcutter has. I will be an even better custodian of it." The spirit nodded and produced a ball that looked exactly like Elias. "Take this ball and let it fill according to the measure of your heart's desire." Silas thanked her profusely and raced back to his home, his mind already spinning with plans of how he would become even richer. He put the ball on a table and waited for it to fill with water. But instead of water, the ball began to fill with mud and thorns. Alarmed, he dumped it out and tried again, but this time, it filled with a swarm of stinging insects. He threw the ball to the ground in a fit of rage, but wherever he went, the ball would reappear, filling with something foul and painful. It was a curse, a reflection of the greed that festered in his heart. Meanwhile, Elias' wooden ball continued to pour forth clear, life-giving water, a symbol of the abundant life that flows from a kind and generous heart. Moral of the story: this story teaches a powerful lesson. True wealth is not found in what you receive, but in what you are willing to give. Kindness, offered without the expectation of reward, is a treasure that multiplies in value, while greed, which seeks only to gain, ultimately brings nothing but sorrow. Please like, share and subscribe our YouTube channel.